Welcome to Sacrilegious Discourse.
I'm husband.
And I'm wife.
Together, we're reading the Bible for the very first time.
We grew up without religion and wanted to know what all the fuss was about.
Well, what have we learned so far?
That God is a dick, and apparently some people believe in talking donkeys?
We're not trying to pass ourselves off as experts.
Nope, we're just reading the Bible for the first time and giving our first take reaction.
If you'd like to join us in this venture, you might consider starting at episode 1.
Otherwise, jump in wherever you like.
All right, let's go read the Bible.
Yeah, let's get to it. Husband!
Wife!
Do you remember where we are and what happened yesterday?
Well, we were introduced to Jeremiah.
We were.
And apparently he didn't need any introduction to God because God knew Jeremiah in the fucking womb.
He did. And
Yeah.
according to Jewish legend, my dude was even born already circumcised.
Right, yeah.
Because that's special.
And then he saw some almonds.
Mm-hmm.
And then he saw a pot tipping over.
Mm-hmm. From the north.
Yeah, winter's coming.
Winter is coming. That's true. The northern wall.
Yeah,
That's
right, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, a better written,
Mm-hmm.
it somewhat kind of still feels like an Isaiah, but like much better written.
Right, yeah. Like,
So-
okay, I'm good with this so far insofar as story.
So far. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced yet that it's going to be that much better.
No, I mean, it
But,
was
like,
only one chapter, so.
At least it's not Isaiah.
Right.
So there's
Yeah.
that.
There is that.
Yeah. So anyway, that was Jeremiah chapter 1.
Sure as fuck was.
Which means that today we're getting into
Jeremiah chapter 2.
All right, let's do this.
Okie dokie. Okay, so we are here jumping into Jeremiah chapter 2, and it's a doozy, my friend.
Yeah, okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
The word of the Lord came to me. Me being Jeremiah.
Right, yeah.
Go and proclaim in the hearing of Jerusalem, this is what the Lord says.
The hearing of Jerusalem. Was this like
Let them hear you.
Oh, okay.
Go say it in
be within earshot.
hearing range.
Got it, yeah, okay.
Yeah. This is what the Lord says. I remember the devotion of your youth, how as a bride you loved me and followed me through the wilderness, through a land not sown. Israel was holy to the Lord, the first fruits of his harvest.
Hold on, I call bullshit on this. Do you remember their journey?
Yes.
Quote unquote through the wilderness?
This is supposed to be like once they got there, and yeah, maybe it wasn't all roses, but he got them there.
There was never a point where God was happy with the fucking Israelites.
No, it's true.
Like
It's
never,
true.
not ever.
It's true. All who devoured her were held guilty, and disaster overtook them, declares the Lord. Hear the word of the Lord, your descendants of Jacob, all you clans of Israel. This is what the Lord says. What fault did your ancestors find in me that they strayed so far from me?
Probably that they couldn't hear
Right,
you, that
exactly.
you weren't talking to them.
Exactly. They followed worthless idols and became worthless themselves. Okay, I gotta say.
Does dude remember that he let them become enslaved and captured and killed? Like, does he remember these? Because, like, if you're asking me why do we not like you,
Right.
those are good reasons in my book.
Right. No,
I'm just saying.
I totally agree with you. But I got to read 2 notes that I made.
Oh, okay. All right.
So in this chapter, God often refers to Judah and Jerusalem as Israel. Okay?
Sure.
Actually, not just this chapter, but this whole book, Jeremiah.
Okay.
Though the northern kingdom of Israel, representing the 10 northern tribes, fell to the Assyrians some 100 years before Jeremiah's work as a prophet.
Okay.
God refers to Judah and Jerusalem as representing all of Israel
Because
it did.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's one thing. Okay.
Yeah.
The other thing is that note that I just said, they went after worthlessness and became worthless themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of liked that wording, and other interpretations phrase it differently, and I like those as well. One of them goes, they have followed idols and have become idolaters.
Okay.
And then another is, they pursued empty phantoms and themselves became empty. I like that.
I see.
That's the one I like best.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay, so anyway, I'm real pissed at them because they suck. They did not ask, where is the Lord who brought us up out of Egypt and led us through the barren wilderness, through a land of deserts and ravines, a land of drought and utter darkness, a land where no one travels and no one lives.
A land where this God throws birds at them. I just can't. I mean,
where is this guy?
Not
where
to mention,
is he?
He sunk some of them into the ground. He lit some of them on fire.
I know.
I mean, there was all. He killed.
But now
I'm sorry, but he was bad too.
He was bad. Yes.
And he didn't like them all.
No. And so he's like, "What? Why aren't you asking where I'm at?" And I'm like, "Do you not hear them asking where you're at all the fucking time?"
Right?
Like,
yeah.
They are.
That's what this whole fucking book is about. They're like, "Where the fuck's God?"
Yeah. And they're like, well, that one doesn't exist. Might as well try a share of polls. So anyway, God is now going on with saying, why aren't you asking where I'm at? He says, I brought you into a fertile land, Canaan, to eat its fruit and rich produce.
Yeah.
But you came and defiled my land and made my inheritance detestable.
Because they didn't, they worshipped idols and they didn't fear God.
Well, and also because they sacrifice children. In there
sure,
too.
Okay, all right.
That's a bad. I'll give God that
no,
one.
I mean, I agree that that's bad, but I mean, this is more about him not getting the worship that he wants,
right?
Even though
he's like, you didn't fear me. Well, you also killed some kids, but anyway, you didn't fear me,
right? Yeah,
like priorities, bro.
Exactly.
The priest did not ask, where is the Lord? Those who deal with the law did not know me. The leaders rebelled against me. The prophets prophesied by Baal, following worthless idols. Okay, I got a few more notes over here. So law refers to the priests and the Levites. So when they're talking about law, they're not like talking about like stop signs and speeding tickets. They're talking about
Levitical law.
Levitical law, the Torah is the law, is the word.
Right.
Like those terms are all interchangeable.
Sure.
So priests were supposed to teach, exposit, interpret, and apply the law for the people, and they weren't doing it.
Okay.
Another thing is,
and somehow that makes it the people's fault too.
Yeah.
Because they're following the wrong people. Remember?
Of course.
You got to follow the right people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course. Oh, that's all I had for that one.
Okay.
Sorry. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I had quite a few notes because this is a bit of a long chapter. So
right.
I just wanted to make sure that we're clear on what we're reading.
Sure.
So, okay, he goes on, this whiny God. Cross over to the coast of Cyprus and look. Send to Kedar and observe closely. See if there has ever been anything like this. Has a nation ever changed its gods? Yet they are not gods at all. But my people have exchanged their glorious God for worthless idols. Okay.
Have people ever changed their God? Yes.
This one.
Yeah.
Well, but all the other ones, they pretty much stayed with their gods. And the Israelites just, they went with whatever God was local at the time. So,
okay.
Yeah, the Egyptians all had Egyptian gods. You know what I mean?
But it's easy to say that in a specific time frame, right? But I'm sure that there were other gods that people had long forgot in the past. And I know there were because they influenced some of what Christianity is. Right. So that is definitely true.
Right.
And then obviously there are gods that are long forgotten, not long forgotten, but long past today that, no one worships really. Not no one, but I mean, very few people worship the, Greek and Roman gods, that's not really a thing.
Exactly.
So we definitely forget gods. We don't
really do.
So
I wish we'd forget this one hardcore.
Right? Yeah. No.
He needs to be deep sixed. So when we were talking about the coast of Cyprus and send to Kedar,
yes,
Cyprus was the westernmost point in Judah's geography, while Kedar was a desert tribe far to the east. So basically, what he's saying is that from west to east is far either direction. Which is to say,
as far as
anywhere,
we know of anything.
Anywhere.
Right.
Everywhere,
sure.
anywhere.
Okay.
He's like, in all the world
right.
that we know between these 2 points.
Yes.
Have you ever seen such shit?
Right.
And it's like, well, yeah.
That's not exactly the whole world, guy.
Right. Be appalled at this, you heavens, and shudder with great horror, declares the Lord. My people have committed 2 sins. 2, count them 2.
Oh, man.
They have forsaken me, the spring of living water, and have dug their own cisterns, broken cisterns that cannot hold water.
I see.
Right. That just has to do with, like, God is supposed to be, like, the living water, whereas they just rejected him and decided to go their own way with their own gods.
Right. No, I got it.
Yeah. Is servant... No. Sorry, I dyslexiaed. Sorry. Is Israel a servant? My brain read, is Israel a servant, but my mouth was trying to say, is servant Israel?
Yeah, I gotcha.
Okay, so, is Israel a servant, a slave by birth? I mean, some of them are.
Right.
Some of the people there are, yes.
And you let them become that.
Yeah.
So.
And it's in your fucking rule book here, you know, so fuck off. Why then has he become plunder? Lions have roared. They have growled at him. Yarr. They have laid waste his land. His towns are burned and deserted. Also,
you say this as though the God, like this is God or Jeremiah speaking for God or whatever the fuck's going on here. But he's saying this as though he couldn't have stopped it or he couldn't have controlled it.
Right.
And there's like multiple things here that are wrong with this whole scenario.
Yeah.
Because he is God, right? So he could, first of all, he could control what they're thinking.
Sure.
And help guide them better to find him.
He could be present.
And he could also keep them from being fucking murdered.
Yeah, he could do that, couldn't
he? I mean, this whole premise is bullshit.
Teach them to set slaves free. He could teach them that women are not property.
Yeah. You know? He could teach them how to build a microwave.
He really could.
I mean, I'm just saying, he's God, you know?
Yeah. He could teach them rocket science so that we get on the moon sooner.
Right, yeah.
Since we're doomed to fuck this planet up. All right. Also, the men of Memphis and Tapanahi. Hold on. I had this earlier. Tapanis. No.
Oh my God. This is painful.
Tapanas.
Okay, just pick one. Okay. I don't fucking care.
Okay, sorry. Tapanis have cracked your skull. Okay. So let me read a note about that now that I can't pronounce it.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's like saying the men of Memphis and Tapanahes or whatever have cracked your skull. Shut up, I can't pronounce it. I don't know. Anyway.
I mean, nor do I, but it's just fun watching you struggle with it.
That's not fair. You're mean. So Memphis was the ancient capital of Lower Egypt near modern Cairo. Okay. And Tapanes,
Tapanes, yeah.
Was an important fortress city on the northern border of ancient Egypt in the northeastern Nile Delta, generally equated with the Greek city of Daphne.
Okay. Yeah.
And so where it says cracked, they cracked your skull.
Mm-hmm.
That is in the King James version translated as broken, but it also may be read as grazed.
Okay.
So whatever these guys did, they either cracked, broke, or grazed your fucking skull.
Got it.
Okay?
Yeah.
Which I find hilarious regardless of how you say it.
Sure.
Okay? Those men, they cracked your fucking head. That's what.
Right.
Okay? Have you not brought this on yourselves by forsaking the Lord your God when he led you in the way? I mean, yeah, sometimes they do bring it on themselves, but I forgive them because their God is stupid.
They bring it on themselves in the same way that anybody brings war upon themselves. They are, dealing with other countries and fighting other countries. It has nothing to do with God.
Right.
In fact, God could be the one that stops it.
Yeah.
He just doesn't.
It's true. Now, why go to Egypt to drink water from the Nile? And why go to Assyria to drink water from the Euphrates? Your wickedness will punish you. Your backsliding will rebuke you. I rebuke you. Consider then and realize how evil and bitter it is for when you forsake the Lord your God and have no awe of me, declares the Lord Almighty.
I'm assuming that the other rivers were closer to other centers of other gods?
No, he's saying when you drink water from the Nile, you're turning to Egypt for help. You're turning to their gods, like you're going to Egypt. Okay. When you're drinking from their waters, you're not drinking from my waters, right?
I gotcha.
And when you go to Assyria,
you're not asking for God's help. You're asking for your neighbor's help.
Yeah, and you're trusting in their gods.
Sure.
So,
okay.
Yeah,
all right.
That's what he's saying.
Well, I mean, when you have a bad record of not helping,
yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
You got to reach out to who you can.
Mm-hmm. Long ago, you broke off your yoke and tore off your bonds. You said, "I'll not serve you." Indeed, they did.
So God's saying that he enslaved the Israelites. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh.
Indeed, on every high hill and under every spreading tree, you lay down as a prostitute. You almost spit out your tea.
I did, yeah.
He said you're a whore. Hey, you know what? Sex work is real work. So
yeah, I'm not judging. I'm just
I know.
To hear God call his people whores,
right?
And prostitutes. I'm like, what the fuck? I thought
that only good, nice words were supposed to come out of God's mouth because he's like the holiest holy or whatever. But he says some real shit, doesn't he?
He's a bit of a name caller. Yeah, I'd say.
Yeah. I had planted you like a choice vine of sound and reliable stock. How then did you turn against me into a corrupt wild vine? Although you wash yourself with soap and use an abundance of cleansing powder, in other places it says lye.
Okay.
Like Lye.
Yeah.
Like,
which is soap.
Right. The stain of your guilt is still before me, declares the sovereign Lord.
Okay.
How can you say, I'm not defiled? I have not run after the balls.
After the balls?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
right.
The balls.
Yeah, right. But you can't say balls out of nowhere and expect people to understand what it is. So
I didn't run after these nuts.
The other gods, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. See how you behaved in the valley? Consider what you have done. Okay, so in the valley.
This is where they sacrifice the kids?
Yeah. Let's see. Scroll down. So this refers to the valley of Hinnom.
Right.
The deep gorge that lies to the west and south of Jerusalem. This was a place of idolatry and hideous deeds where all sorts of heathen rites were practiced, including the worship of Baal and the worship of Molech.
Wow.
Remember that guy?
I do.
Yeah, so they did all kinds of yucky stuff there, and they burned kids and stuff. So
right.
They're not good. Yeah.
Didn't they compare that to, like, hell at one point or something like that?
Yeah, Gehenna.
Essentially, something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a stinky trash pile of constant fire, and...
Right.
It was called Gehenna, and that's where they...
Because there was burning children, and there was, all that shit.
And so that's became the word for Hades, the underground.
Yeah.
And that became hell.
Right.
So, see how you behaved in the valley? Consider what you have done. You are a swift she-camel running here and there. I'll tell you about this in a minute.
Okay, yeah.
A wild donkey accustomed to the desert, sniffing the wind in her craving. In her heat, who can restrain her? So he's again calling them not just prostitutes, but now they are wild animals in heat. Because apparently female donkeys and what else was it? Camels.
Yeah.
They will go nuts when they're in heat, and they will just hop on anything and try to be mounted all the time.
Got it.
So he's just really being nasty.
Sure.
So
yeah.
Any males that pursue her need... Oh, wait, let me read that again. Any males that pursue her need not tire themselves. At mating time, they'll find her. Damn! He's so cold. This is not okay. This is not how you talk to your people.
Right?
If you ever talk to me like this, much less a god, no. This is not okay.
No. Do
not run until your feet are bare and your throat is dry. But you said, it's no use. I love foreign gods and I must go after them. I gotta do it. As a thief is disgraced when he is caught, so the people of Israel are disgraced. They, their kings, and their officials, their priests, and their prophets.
I don't know. They keep doing this, apparently, because it's been like a constant theme for as long as we've been reading the Bible so far.
Yeah.
I don't think they're that ashamed. They just keep doing it.
Right.
They might be ashamed because they get in trouble by the law.
Right.
That's not really being ashamed, though. That's just being scared of getting caught.
Right.
So there's a difference there.
Yeah, well, that's what he's going to go on to say, that y'all always turn to me, but you're not sorry for what you did. You're just sorry you got busted.
Why would they be sorry for not... They don't know you. They don't.
Right.
You haven't talked to them. You haven't told them shit.
Yeah.
So I kind of just piss off, man.
You're so bitter. Now, I have something interesting to say about this next section because I took notes on it based on what it said in the King James Version, but it looks like it got corrected in the version that we're reading, which makes my notes very interesting.
Okay, sure.
These people say to wood, "You are my father," and to stone, "You gave me birth." They have turned their backs to me and not their faces. Yet when they are in trouble, they say, "Come and save us." Where then are the gods you made for yourselves? Let them come if they can save you when you are in trouble. For you, Judah, have as many gods as you have towns.
Wow.
Okay. So the tree was a wooden idol representing Asherah. So Asherah poles.
Right.
The leading female Canaanite deity.
Didn't they destroy all those at one point?
Sure.
Like
sure, if you say
eons
so.
ago.
God says they were gonna.
Right, yeah.
The stone represented Baal, the leading male Canaanite deity. Okay. There is a small amount of satire here, for it is the female symbol, the tree, that is called father in the King James Version.
Okay.
And the male symbol, stone, that is called you who gave birth, or you who gave me birth.
Okay.
So in the King James Version, apparently that satire exists.
Got it.
But in our version, it says, oh no, they say to wood, "You are my father."
Okay.
Yeah. So they're saying it backwards.
Right.
And so apparently Israel was confused about what she was worshiping when she turned to other gods.
I see.
Which is interesting. Okay. So not only did they adopt other gods, they didn't even pay real close attention to what they were doing.
I mean, you could relate that to today, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that many quote-unquote worshipers today really know that much about what they're worshiping.
Clearly.
So,
because if you tell them there's rape in the Bible, they'll look at you like you're insane and they'll scream, "How dare you say such ugly things about the holy book?"
Right.
And it's like, so then you haven't read it then.
In fact, most of the people that I know that have truly studied the Bible are much more humble about, like, if they still believe, they're much more humble about their belief, and or they or became an atheist.
Right.
You know, like, right. I mean, like,
they're either like, I still call myself a Christian, but man, the Bible's trash.
Right. So
like,
and I would say, I would go so far as to say that, like, I have met some preachers, like, we used to have a landlord that was a Baptist preacher.
Yeah.
Right? And or pastor, whatever they call him. I don't really know.
Pastor.
Yeah, that's right, pastor. Yeah. So anyway, they I would go so far as to say I don't think he knows the Bible that well. He cherry picks. I think he cherry picks for himself. You know, like he sees it with rose tinted glasses, and he wants to see the things that he wants to see.
Yeah.
And that's how he chooses to read the Bible. And that's how a lot of people choose to read the Bible.
Sure.
If they read it at all.
Right.
So.
And that's the problem. They're not reading it straight through.
Right. Well,
they're not even.
It doesn't have to be straight through.
No, but they're not even reading one book of the Bible straight through.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You do have to look at it critically, I think. You know,
right.
Like, if you want to truly, like, if you truly want to embrace God, right? If you want to embrace
one with the Word,
right? Then you need to embrace it all, and you need to understand it all, and work through it all.
Right.
Right. Like, you should have an answer for me, for you, right? For our listeners, as to why you believe in this God and support this God when these things happen in the Bible.
Right.
Have an answer ready. Yeah. Let us know that you have thoroughly thought through every aspect of your belief and you still choose to be what you are. Yeah. You know, I'm not saying that you...
Look, I would even accept, you know what? That part bothered me too. And I don't have an answer for that.
Right. But be aware of it.
Right. The fact that they're like, no, it's not. Right. Or it's not ours to know. Like, no. That's
shorthand
not good
for
enough.
I didn't read it.
Either I didn't read it or that was too hard. So I just decided it's in God's hands.
Right.
You put in God's hands everything that you can't be bothered with.
Right.
And that's too easy. I'm sorry.
No, I agree.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, father, mother, birth, stone, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. They have turned their backs to me. Come save us. Okay. Where then are the gods you made for yourselves? And they're not coming to save you. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Here we are.
Okay. All right.
Why do you bring charges against me? You have all rebelled against me, declares the Lord. In vain I punished your people. They did not respond to correction. I wonder why.
No one likes being smacked, dude.
No.
So, you know.
No. Your sword has devoured your prophets like a ravenous lion. I like that, actually.
Yeah.
You of this generation, the kids these days,
right?
Consider the word of the Lord. Have I been a desert to Israel or a land of great darkness? I'm going to go with both.
Both, yeah. Those.
A great dark desert.
Right, yeah.
Why do my people say, we're free to roam? We will come to you no more.
I don't know, dude. Why did they say that?
Why do they feel like they want to go see other lands?
Right? Yeah. I
learn new practices.
Usually when people are breaking up with you, they got a good reason for it. So.
That is true. That is true.
You know?
Does a young woman forget her jewelry, a bride her wedding ornaments? Yet my people have forgotten me. Days without number. Nobody knows the trouble the Lord sees.
Right?
Nobody knows the sorrow.
If I was going to create my perfect God, he would just be he'd be the dude. From what the fuck's that movie called? God
that
damn
one
it.
Movie.
That one movie with the dude,
with the rug.
with the rug, yeah.
The carpet.
And the bowling and and all the shit.
That's just like your opinion, man. Is it
called the dude?
No, it's not.
No, it's not called the dude, is it?
What's it called?
I can't
it's
fucking
not
remember.
Called the dude, but no, the second that you said it, it like went out of my head.
It might be the dude.
It's not the fucking dude.
Whatever.
He's
but anyway,
the dude.
He needs to be God.
Yeah.
That dude's cool.
That dude is cool. Yeah. How skilled you are at pursuing love. Even the worst of women can learn from your ways. The worst of women.
Okay.
Right. On your clothes is found the lifeblood of the innocent poor, though you did not catch them breaking in. Yet in spite of this all, you say, I'm innocent. He's not angry with me. But I will pass judgment on you because you say I've not sinned. Why do you go about so much, changing your ways? You will be disappointed by Egypt as you were by Assyria. You will also leave that place with your hands on your head, for the Lord has rejected those you trust. You will not be helped by them, fuckers. The end.
I mean, shit happens to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter which god you're fucking, worshiping. It doesn't matter. Shit's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't fucking matter.
Right.
Like, life happens regardless of which god you fucking worship. There are many gods that people worship across the world now.
Mm-hmm.
And shit happens in their lives all the fucking time.
It didn't stop global climate change.
Right.
Right?
It doesn't make a fucking lick of difference.
Nope.
Whether you worship this god or that god or no god, it doesn't fucking matter.
Mm-mm.
Things happen.
Yeah.
I just don't know what else to say about it. It makes me so angry that he's like, if you just listen to me, but then like he's like, well, even though you listen to me, you're still gonna. I mean, just like there's so many, just back and forth and contradictions and bullshit, and I hate it.
He's an asshole, and I don't like him, and he's a chauvinist pig.
Yes.
And he's racist and xenophobic.
Oh yeah.
And get the sense that he's like anti-pride, and I just don't care for him.
Yeah, There might have been a moment in my life, maybe even a few years moments in my life, where I thought I wanted to find out what God was and possibly, learn more about that and possibly worship it, right?
Yeah, tell me what that is.
Because of peer pressure, who
doesn't want to fit in? Who doesn't want to feel good?
Right. So, it was something that I was curious about. But the more... And this happened before we started this project.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I was very not religious before the project.
Oh, I know.
But the more I know about religious people, about religion in general, about Christianity specifically, because that's more prevalent where I am,
mm-hmm.
I am turned further and further away from this shit because it is so bad.
The more we read, the angrier I get, too.
Yeah. Because there's no redeeming qualities. It is all shit.
Maybe Jesus will be better.
I don't give a fuck. And at this point, Jesus is God's son, right, or whatever. I don't fucking know. It doesn't matter. But he's
I don't buy it.
He's apparently in that mix or whatever, right? It's that the original God is still the original God.
Yeah.
He's still the fucker that did all this shit.
Yeah.
And regardless of what you tell me, this is still bullshit.
Yeah. I haven't reached the New Testament, so I'm not sure how much pretzel twisting we're going to have to do to make all that work. And I know that the Catholic Church does a lot of pretzel twisting to make it all come together with, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. And, the Trinity is one and blah, blah, blah. Like,
I don't really care about the twisting together of the gods. I care more about whatever the messages are that they're trying to deliver, right?
Right.
To me, what I'm trying to discover in the Bible is more about the overarching messages that are there, the idea of what God represents, I guess, is what I'm curious about.
Mm-hmm.
And so far, it does not represent good things.
Nope.
To me.
It sure do not.
And I'm sorry to go on this big old rant about it, so.
That's fine with me. That's what we're here for.
Well, anyway, that was Jeremiah chapter 2.
Sure as fuck was.
Which means that we'll be back tomorrow on our live Discord.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, for those of you listening, probably when this releases, it'll be tonight.
Yes, that is right.
At 10 p.m. Eastern.
Mm-hmm.
Link is in the show notes.
Yep.
Join us there.
Yep.
And we will be doing our live episode for
Jeremiah chapter 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see you then.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, wife. I guess that's the end?
But husband, that's just sad.
It doesn't have to be. We are on lots of social media platforms like Twitter. Our handle there is sacrilegious_D.
For D's nuts.
Oh my God. Stop doing that. Anyway, we're also on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. There's a link to all of our social media sites at our website.
Ooh, we have a website?
Yeah, it's sacrilegiousdiscourse.com, where you can also find a link to our merch shop.
We have a merch shop?
Yep. We have podcast-themed clothing, mugs, notebooks, and more, as well as an atheist and science-themed products.
Wow, our fans should really go check that out right now.
Definitely. They can get in touch with us by sending an email to sacrilegiousdiscourse@gmail.com. But before they do that, we could really use some help.
Oh yeah? With what?
Well, it's not free running the podcast, and we need some financial support in order to get better equipment, which will free up time so we can concentrate on our podcast and our fans.
Okay, so what should they do?
Head over to patreon.com/sacrilegiousdiscourse and sign up as a contributor on our podcast. Supporters there receive additional bi-weekly episodes that we record just for our Patreon members for as little as $2 a month.
Also, we'd really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe on whatever platform you're using.
And Apple Podcast reviews help us out tremendously.
Like and subscribe. Leave an Apple review. Join us on Twitter. Support us on Patreon. That's a lot of instructions. Don't forget to say thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, bye.